Hello there, my name is Azat Mardan. I am the founder and creator of Node University. In this short lecture, I want to explain you how the module system in Node.js works. It's very simple, yet it's very powerful because it's simple. It also allows you quite a lot of flexibility in terms of what patterns for the modules you want to use. So let's dive right into. To create a module, you would use a special global variable. Global variables, they're special magic variables. They are available to you anywhere in your Node script, in your Node file, in your Node application. So you would just type the name of that special magical variable. There's no need to do anything extra, and you would assign a certain value to that magical global variable. So the name of that magical global variable is module.exports. So module, it's the main name, is the name of this object, and then you would also specify a property on that object. So module would have a property, or if you want to use attribute or you want to use a key. So they're all synonyms. And so that attribute exports is where you want to assign your value. So module.exports equals and a certain value. It could be a string using quotes or double quotes or ES6 string template. It could be a function, it could be a number, it could be a class, it could be an object. Of course, strings and numbers, it's possible to use them, but it's not really a module. When we think about a module, we think about a class. So typically, you would create a class. You can use either a prototypal inheritance or a functional inheritance, or you can use the new ES6 class keyword. You can use that as well. And then you would export it by assigning that value. So you would say module.exports equals, and then you would have the name of the class. For example, a button with a capital B. If you are building a React component using class, typically they are capitalized. You can also export a function. That's my preferred choice. I like to export functions because I could take some value as an argument. So that's a module. Now let's talk about the main application. In the main application, the way you use that module, you would say require. Require parentheses, it's a method. It's a global method. You don't need to do anything extra. You just say require, and you would specify the file name. So you can load a file, you can load a JavaScript file, which you export with module.exports. You can also specify just a string. When it's just a string, when it's not a path, the path starts with a dot or two dots or a slash when it's an absolute path on Linux and Mac OS systems. In this case, when it's just a string, it's not a path, it will be looking for that package, for that NPM package or the core package. When it's a file, it could be a JavaScript file, but it also could be a JSON file, which is cool because most of the times you don't even need to have a JavaScript file. Let's say it's a static configuration, some translations, some IP addresses, some configurations. So just create a JSON file and use require to load it. Now, when you require something, that file, if it's a JS file, if it's a Node file, it will run. It will run just once and then it will be cached. And whatever you are exporting, that would be the value that require gives you. So typically, you would create a new variable in your main file. You would use const. I recommend using const over let because you're not going to change that. You're not going to redeclare that name. So const, and then the module name, for example, const space express equals require express. So in this case, express, it's a core module. Another example with a file would be const space config equals require parentheses quote dot slash config dot JSON. So in this case, I'm loading the JSON config into a variable called config, and that becomes an object with all the content that I have in that file. So you can also load a folder. By loading a folder, you are just aliasing. You are under the hood, you are importing index.js in that folder. That's actually how all the modules are implemented. They have that index.js in a folder. So that's more or less it for module.exports and require. And I'll see you in the next episode of Node.js short lectures.